only here for a good time, not a long time. Trying to live right with the right vibe. Still feel the pain of my pop's gone. Just the fifth time, see my mom cry. Wanna ask why, but the heavens never answer my questions. Guess every loss doesn't really translate to a lesson. So
That being said, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the world famous Do Work Podcast. I am your host, Scientifics, and this is episode 17, live from the second part of the Pink Studios where we did the first one with Be Free. I told you the studio's still under construction. We just did 16 with Otis at the Man Cave, so we got different locations and stuff. I want to thank you guys for coming back out. Shout out to our sponsors, Red Eye. Oh, as you see, I'm rocking another Red Eye Company tee, and then we got the Red Eye Industries if you guys are looking into getting anything. RedEyeIndustries.com will be up and running. As soon as we drop this podcast, you guys will check it. The link will be in everything. So shout out to them. I shot them a t-shirt. My man B off camera has one as well. But shout out to them. This one is Amnesia Kush. Last time we had the Ogre Candy. And then we got some apple bananas, stuff like that. So if you guys want to check them out, RedEyeCompany.com, RedEyeIndustries.com. Shout out to our sponsors. With that being said, every week I have a special guest. Every week I make it even better than I had before. And every week it's just building up to the brands and letting you guys know what we got going on. And I got another artist from Fresno that just dropped another project. It's so great. In Fresno right now, we got a bunch of people that are doing things, that are dropping music. There's going to be some visuals coming out. It's about to be special. But with that, everybody make some big noise for the man that I've known for about 15 years. We started doing stuff back in the day with Back of the Bus.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Biggs and Banks.
Yes, sir.
And everybody make some noise. Put your hands together for my man, The Feet. What's up, my guy?
What's up,
handshake. Oh, got all weird.
We
Got
gotta
all
get
weird.
it
Got
all.
all weird.
We gotta get all of them.
We want to make sure that no sets were left out during that handshake. Just
Right.
So what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, fam. How's everything? You know what I mean? Just chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Trying to push this album and these singles and stuff like that.
That's what's up. So tell everybody. Okay, so first off, let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Your boy The Fee, straight out of the 559. I mean, but not secluded to worldwide, just like this podcast here. And I mean, but I'm a hip hop artist. I also help produce. If anybody needs production assistance, hit your boy. You know what I mean? But shit, I'm Mr. Worldwide, bro. I do a little bit of everything. I mean, I've done podcasts, I've done radio shows, I've done, TV shows, hosted. I've done quite a bit, but
You guys have a podcast? What's the name of your podcast?
yes, sir. Pod and Full Podcast.
Shout out,
Yes, sir.
Pod in Full.
Pod and Full Podcast.
Who you got going
Pod and Full. Omar Ora and my boy Otis Reed, man, my fan bam. We're gonna be bouncing back pretty soon. We're gonna be having some more episodes and stuff. We're just getting things to the right positions where we can knock this stuff out. But
Yeah, because when things get serious, you want to make sure you plan it
absolutely,
right.
man. And we hear you. We've had people they keep asking me, hey, when's the next pod?
Yeah.
And this and that. And apparently they enjoyed it. So we can't do it any injustice by not bringing it back.
Yeah, right.
We
The
gotta
fans
come
want
back.
it, so you're doing the right thing.
It was just a little hiatus. It wasn't a goodbye. It was a see you later.
So all around in Fresno entertainment and involved in like all the brands and styles, like from production to music writing, being an artist, helping push stuff. What part of life did you start doing this, and how long did it like take for you to actually like grasp it to like this is what I'm gonna do?
Right. I began writing lyrics at the age of 9 years old. But it was more in the form of like poetry and stuff like that. My sisters had actually gone to some kind of poetry thing inside school, and like an after school program or something. And when they would come back, they would write poetry. And I would listen to a lot of like old school Pac and like just a lot of like lyrical poets. And so I just kind of took it on and like would write poetry to beats and different songs I would hear on the radio and stuff like that. And then I didn't have very many friends early on, so like I would just walk around like the fields and like the soccer field and stuff like that and just kind of freestyle to myself. You know what I mean? So it just kind of grew from there, just a passion, because music was kind of like, it was one of my only friends like early on, because I moved around a lot. I got in a lot of like fights because people would try to pick on me because I was small.
Or the new kid.
And yeah, I would be the new kid in places, so it would always be like an issue. And where I'm from, you know, Southeast Fresno, like we don't really back down too much, so it would just always kind of be an issue. And it was what it was. But so a lot of the kids like wouldn't, they would just see me right off the bat and be like, he's mean, or he's this, or he's that. And so I would get that stigma. But also just because like I wasn't trying to be anybody's friend. I mean, like I was like, man, I'm here for school. You know
yeah, because
like,
you told me off camera, like you had a bunch of cousins that live right here by where we're at
right
now.
Just right.
So like you're like, I got a ton of cousins. Like I don't need really friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm pretty much set on that.
Well, you would think until like you move from like a family member to family member. You know what I mean? So like when my mom kind of dropped us off in like 3rd grade, then I went to my dad, and then that's where it was kind of like I go to a whole different school, a whole different section. Like it was more closer to Clovis, so like some of the kids were just kind of like, what's up with this kid? I was like bald headed with a long ducktail and stuff.
Man, like, where are you from?
Just mean mugging and stuff. Yeah. Like, and it was a little tumultuous, but I did have a friend back then named Adam Lowry, and he was like back then we would call him like rockers, you know, like he would listen to the Metallica, the Aerosmith, so he kind of got me into like rock and stuff like that.
I'm sure it was a culture clash for both sides.
Yeah, it was crazy,
you
bro.
came in and they were like, we've never had somebody come in that looked like you or
right.
was from the area, and at the same time you're like, I've never even been around this type of
right. It was
side
just
of town.
Like my sisters, it was easy for them to kind of like integrate, but for me it was just kind of like, man, I didn't care if I didn't have any friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I was whatever. So, but then I would just walk around and kind of freestyle. But as I would grow up, I ended up meeting a lot of like people that ended up eventually becoming artists and that rapped and stuff. But even like in high school, I remember people freestyling like in the hallways, and then I would just kind of be chilling with the few friends I had, and they'd be like, "Oh, he knows how to rap. Come here, come here." And they started kind of calling me, you know. It would be Ralphie. My name's Ralph. You know what I mean? And so that branched off into Fee.
Okay.
And so I would go in and I'd just freestyle, and I'd walk away and I'd be like, man, nobody really liked it. But every couple of weeks I'd like kind of walk by them and they'd be like, hey, come back in. So then we'd come back in, you know, and I'd just freestyle kind of, and all right, I'm gonna go play basketball or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because I was pretty good at any type of sports.
Yeah.
But as I grew, then I hit my growth spurts and stuff like that. Then people wanted to be my friend. Girls started liking me, like I was taller, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that. So it was just easier to kind of go from there. But I always kept that chip on my shoulder of like the kids that kind of would bully me or like think that they were bigger than me and stuff. And I would still fight them, but at the same time, I was just like, bro, wait till I'm big, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wait till I grow, man. Yeah.
Or even just with like the music, like did you think that you were gonna take it to be a competitive thing to where like, if I can't beat you up, I'm gonna rhyme on you? Or was it more like, all right, I'm just gonna keep it to myself until I feel like...
It was kind of to myself, and then I
without those ciphers type game.
And by freestyling inside the hallways, I ended up meeting one of my boys, On. And On was a Cambodian dude, On Orn. I went to Duncan.
What's up, On?
And he was a part of One Mind with Mac G. And On, he started bringing me into the studio maybe around like 17. And so from there, he was like, at first, he was like, bro, you kind of look like a rapper. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I wouldn't perceive myself as that, you know what I mean? But he was just like, nah, man, like you seem like you might be able to like take it a little far. Plus you have your own kind of flow. And I would be like, all right, what's up? You know, that's what's up. And he would take me to the studios and I'd get on some tracks with him. And slowly I just started being like, man, I really like recording, man. Like I really like getting stuff out. It was my therapy. You know what I mean? It was my way of like I didn't have a close relationship with either of my parents, my real parents. And my stepmom would always try. And I give her so much credit for that because I was very like, I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
thank you, but I'm good.
Yeah, like kind of like that. And so she would try, but it just got to a point to where I needed some kind of outlet because fighting, you can't just continue fighting. You can't just continue like
unless you plan to be a boxer.
Yeah. But not on the street level, bro, because some of these dudes, like, they'll take your head off. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out, like, do you want to grow and try to see where you could take things, or do you want to like get into this street life? And you know what I mean, and I've always had friends that were into stuff like that and family, like, but when you grow up inside our section in our area, like you're affiliated by birth. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't have a choice. Yeah. But I was always
because you
cool.
grew up on that block, so you're from that block.
Yeah, but what was cool was like my mom wouldn't be home sometimes. Like my real mom, like before 3rd grade, she wouldn't be home for like days on end sometimes. And this is like before 3rd grade, bro. It's just me and 3 sisters.
Yeah.
And we had a black family to the right of me. And they were like Methodist Baptists, and they would take us to their church and stuff. We would flip out.
They get wild. Yeah.
And we would flip out, but she would feed us like soul food. And to the left of us was Cambodian folks, and they would feed us a bunch of Asian food.
Oh, yeah.
So we grew accustomed to just everything. Know what I mean? And then they would teach us about like Buddhism and stuff. So like, and then, my grandfather's a pastor, so it was like Catholicism. And then it was just like all kinds of different things. So it was always like, man, just respect. You know what I mean? Like,
basically,
shit.
yeah. All ideologies basically are that. Just preach respect and, treat human beings like a real person. But like, okay, so when you started doing music, because you have a very distinct voice. Like, I think one of the things that I really enjoyed from the very beginning was that your voice sounded way different than most artists. It's kind of hard to sound like someone like you when your voice is naturally raspy. But also it's kind of harder to kind of project that if that isn't naturally your voice for other artists.
Right.
And so when you first started rapping, like, did you realize, like, yo, I actually sound different? Like, this actually might work more, not only just the rhymes.
I would hear from a lot of people I had a radio voice.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people would say you have a radio voice. Then
meaning,
when I would record,
I could hear it and listen to it for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard from, females that I have an attractive voice. You know what I'm saying? But I would also hear from producers that
it's too raspy?
No, that I have a lot of highs, but I have a lot of like bass. Mm-hmm. And they're like some producers would be like, it's hard to mix because like your voice is loud, but it's very bassy at the same time. Mm-hmm. And you want kind of the equal medium.
And that's what that bass comes in, because it's that high and bass hitting at the same time. Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like even when I would do shows, like I would do like a 20-minute, 25-minute set. And I'd be like, man, I gotta quit smoking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta sheesh. My throat would just be gone for like a week. But it's like, at the same time, I wouldn't change my voice, man. I like how I sound. Like, I think, it makes it distinct. I think when people hear my music and stuff like that, then they're like, okay, that's Feet.
Yeah, because there's artists that have, a deeper tone. Right. And then there's artists that have like a medium baritone that kind of is more like right. And then there's some people that kind of have like a high, but it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to, but like I'm saying, like Keek the Sneak, how it's able to be mumbled, high pitched, and still bassed at the same time. Like the voice kind of works the volume. It's like your tool, like your instrument. You really know how to play that particular instrument well, because it sounds well put together. Your cadences play perfect to it, and you do melodies. When you sang on the album, if you guys haven't got a chance yet, we're gonna talk about it. But he's got a new project out called Just Feet. Yep.
Self-titled.
And check it out on Apple Music, Spotify, all that. But his tones in there, some of the melodies he brings to the songs, and the way that it goes from maybe a bounce cadence to a melody to it works perfect for the voice tone, and that's what I'm saying. Like you kind of get used to hearing it, where you hear certain artists in Fresno or any city, that person has that sound, and then you got the baby versions of them. Right. And like maybe in your flow, people are taking your flow.
I think a lot of people overlook that kind of individuality.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would rather sound alike or sound like this guy, or and when you're distinct, like one of the greatest flows and voices is probably Method Man, bro. He just sounds like a hip hop artist. He just, and he could rap his ass off, but it's like distinct. Like a lot of these littles, they all sound little. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, cool, but what makes you stand out? Well, like out of the bunch, it's almost like one of those claw machines, like with all the ducks, and it's like, okay, there's a red duck, green duck, but they're all the same fucking duck. And there's, a white duck with the polka dots. There's like this duck with this, and the duck with the cop hat, and this and that. And like, okay, you want to collect them all, but it's all the same duck.
It's always usually the yellow one.
It's always the yellow one. You want the rubber. You want the regular.
No, but because I know what you're saying though.
Right,
Because,
but it's
because
like-
even us growing up, like we had the options of voices like Too Short, Eazy-E. Then you got Ice Cube. Then you got when Method Man came in. You know what I mean? There was Tupac's voice, Biggie's voice. Like what was hot at that moment, there was such a contrast of a deep voice, high voice, mid voice. Somebody that just kind of had like a thing. Oh, Dirty's voice was all over the map.
I am highly influenced by Pac though. Like he's always been like he's like spoke for me a lot of times when I felt like, you know what I mean, like I needed music to speak for me at a certain time.
Yeah.
Whether you know what I mean, his words were exactly the reality, that's regardless. That doesn't matter. It just like I needed to hear a dude that was speaking from his chest, like out his throat, and like you could hear like he's like rapping that shit and he believes what he's saying and he's saying what he believes and he's just like, and so that's why like Pac's like always been my number one. But that I get like the melodies and melodies and things like that. I like that too.
You can stick with melodies.
But the melodies and things like that, and the smoothness of like Jay-Z. Like I like the way he just flows on beats and he just sounds like he's talking.
Or like a Snoop.
And
Like when Snoop gets into that rhythm, it's like
it's just
silky.
smooth. It's like, what can you do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
And that's what I'm saying. It's good that you have that voice because those are the things as hip hop artists when we grew up that we really wanted to hear that person do something.
right,
Wasn't that they also had the fact that they barred the fuck out, but their music did that.
right.
And it was like that voice
But
is gonna
I
do
believe
on
it's
top.
the unexpected.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I want people to like, even when I hear beats, I don't want to give them, okay, it sounds like a girl track. Well, maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe I flip that girl track into like something else. You know what I mean? Into, you know,
A different conversation.
yeah, girl is hip hop. Like everybody's used over and over again. But like, you know what I mean? Like just something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mother Earth.
Where it's unexpected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel you.
I remember I went to one of my friends. His name's Dell, and he has a wing spot out inside Merced named the Hot Spot. You can find it on Instagram, Hotspot 209, and incredible wings, incredible food. But right when he opened it, me and my cousin Moonsy, we went out there. And I was just like, oh, we got to try these wings. I love wings. Plus, it's the folks. Okay, we're just going to get out there and try it, right?
Slap on, yeah.
And so, Moonsy's like, yeah, let's go. We roll, get out there, and we're like, Dale, where you at? We thought he was set up with his shop. He's like, I'm out the house right now. He's kicking wings out the house. And people are buying them by crazy.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
he has a big shop, though. And I think it's on like the naval base or air base that's out there or something like that. But it's 209 Hotspot, bomb wings. And so I get out there and I walk in and the whole wing spot's black folks. And I love my peoples, but they all looked at me like, who is this brown dude? You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, who cousin this?
and so I'm walking in and Dale goes, what's up, fam? Hey, this is my family feed, this and that. He has an album dropping, blah, 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 and like shouts me out. And so the whole house is folks. So folks are like, he raps.
Oh, you rap?
Like, you know what I mean? He must rap like, I'm down on the under. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Eminem, skibbity bebop.
Yeah. And so they were like, it was, I was dropping my album Feast.
Okay.
And they said, they go, put on one of your tracks. And it's a whole house, man. The house,
yeah.
the backyard.
Yeah.
It was like a party. And so I get back there and I play the first track. And it's with me and my boy Sinbad. And I just start busting like straight out the gate. I like coming out the first track just
Punch
busting.
it.
Just
Yeah,
bust. Show people that you can rap. And so I go track one. And I played it. And everybody was listening and they started walking up. They're like, bro, I didn't know you could rap like that. And I was like, yeah. Wait till you hear the next one. And then they were like, play the next one. And so I played the whole house full of folks, bro. All of them. By the time I was walking out there after my wings, they were like, hey, good shit, man. I'm gonna look for your album. I'm gonna look for you. You know what I mean?
I'm fuck with
Stuff
you.
like that.
I'm fuck with you.
Hey,
I'm fuck with you.
but it was like the stamp of authenticity. They were all like,
Nah, we know what that means. You walk into black folks' house and then they leave like, hey, I'm walking with you. I'll check for you, bro. Like,
a lot of the folks were walking up. They said, "You sound like a black dude." I was like, "Oh shit!" I mean,
that was your Mexican accent. Like, nah,
right.
I don't got one of those. My bad. Yeah,
I was like, "Nah, bro, I just rap, man." You know what I mean? Like, that's all I know. Hey, that was fire, bro.
Just lighting it up.
Hey, and I even told Dal, and Dal was like, "Hey, you walked in and you walked out." I was like, "That's right, okay."
Hey, but that's crazy. Though,
I didn't know I was going in the fire.
But when you talked about the ciphers just now, too, you said the same thing. Like, you would walk in and then just dip. Like, all right, I did my thing. I'm out.
Right.
Kind of set staple of like how you maneuver now. It's like, I'm gonna do my thing. Everybody fuck with me when I'm here, and then I'm out. Because then if you want me back, you gotta call me.
Right.
Hey, stop by. Hey, free, come back to the field. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You gotta let me know.
And how many projects have you dropped? Because you said now we got Fee.
Yeah.
I remember the Feast. But I know you did some projects with Billionaire, and I know you dropped solo projects prior to.
As far as albums,
or just projects. We'll just say projects, because if
projects
you say
probably
have be like 4
projects that probably have like
what you would consider an
12.
album. Yeah, 12 for projects.
Maybe like 12 or 13 projects.
And then what would you consider
But
albums? Like you, this is my EP or LP.
I've definitely dropped probably about 6 or 7 albums.
Okay. And this one
because it started with Sorry for the Delay.
Yeah.
Then I had Nice to Meet Me. Then I had maybe about 4 or 5. No, shoot. Then I had Feast.
Okay.
Then I had Trappy Feet Volume 1, Trappy Feet Volume 2, Trappy Feet Volume 3. Then I had Feet.
So 7.
So 7 albums.
Albums.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And this one, I've heard your music progress since I met you. You've always had great content and flow. It's just songwriting is a difference in when you can take what you already have,
right,
and make it not simple but easy to digest for everyone,
right,
but still give the message, still saying what it is you're supposed to say, and still giving them the or the hip hop. You're giving them hip hop, but you're able to songwrite now, and that's what I think hit me more. It was like I got your album and TA's album at the same time, and
we're a month apart.
I listened to them both at the same time because I had downloaded them at the same time, and I was like, okay, check it, boom, super lyrical, songwriting and lyrical. Like, I think he's gonna be on the next album, like be able to songwrite because he's coming out with so many bars. Shout out to TA, by the way.
Big ups, my
I can't
friend.
wait to see you tomorrow. Actually, he's on episode 18, so he's on the next episode.
For sure.
Otis was on the one before this, so episode 16.
That's my brother.
Shout out to that. So I feel that songwriting is in place, and I think that's great because as an artist, you elevated to songwriting and still be respected as a lyricist, still be able to know that your bars are like super fire, but then you also go, but the song itself, you'll listen to this driving down the street, barbecuing, doing like as you would hit any hip hop. It's like you've gotten to that point now.
I think you have to stay cognizant of that. Mm-hmm. Like you can't get repetitive. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't think I really have ever made a track where I'm like, this, I hope this track sounds like this other track. Mm-hmm. I mean, like every single track, I'm kind of like, I did that already. Like, what more can I do? How far can I take myself? Like, am I really great? Because like greatness fades. So like, you got to sharpen that iron, and generally you have to sharpen iron with iron. And that's why I like standing in with like TA and standing in with Otis and standing in with like whoever
Omar and everybody
predicts that they're the greatest. At least I want to be able to say like my peers understand what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like and I do get my flowers from folks and stuff like that, and I do greatly appreciate it, but I'm a work in progress. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I'm never a finished deal. I'm always trying to be like, how can I fit this pocket a little bit better? How can I maybe should I rap fast here? Should I slow it down? I've been having to figure out that you know what I mean, and I've always known it, but I've always just tried to like, nah, I can do that. Mm-hmm. But greatness really lies with patience. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes you gotta leave that gap, and sometimes you gotta let it breathe, and sometimes and I've always been like, man, I can fill that in with some bars. You know what I mean?
Right there.
You know what I mean? But it's like, nah, you gotta let it breathe. There's a reason why like Prince stopped right there and just let that echo go.
Yeah, you
know
said
what
what you needed to say.
There's a reason why certain things happen, and so you gotta stay really cognizant of that and understand who you are and not be too overtly egotistical, but you also got to be humble as well and understand that, man, that all that stuff fades, bro. That hip hop hibbity like went out the window, but it was fire back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's good that you brought up having your flowers and people giving you flowers, because on every episode I like to give people their flowers. Kind of jump ship because I do it later on in the show, but it's good that I do it now because we never want to miss the opportunity to give somebody their flowers. So like I said, you've been around for 15 years, bro. I remember watching all this stuff. Yeah. And you be creating a stamp where we used to do, you still do what we did all the back in the days, and what Wick's got his stamp with doing is showing up at every show, showing everybody love, really shaking hands and shaking babies and kissing hands. You know what I mean? Like really getting in there and seeing everybody's like, yo, I'm really here. I am a part of the hip hop scene.
Right.
I'm here to show you. If I've never heard of you, I'm gonna give you props if it was dope. And like you said earlier off camera, like if you came up to me and you showed me your music and I thought it was whack and I said it was whack, it wasn't because I hated you. I don't even know you.
Right.
You showed me something and wanted my opinion. But being able to have a staple and being a face, a part of the timeline of Fresno's hip hop, your emblem with the feet now with the little vest and the crest kind of is like, it's, you have your bar of from this point to this point. Right. And hopefully it's still going to keep going. But the fact that your timeline exists is dope, and I want to give you props for that, for being able to go through the life struggles and go through the personal struggles, children, wife, business, work, all that shit, plus the music scene itself changing and having to keep up with trying to stay true to your sound while developing and growing, and being able to adapt to something that still sounds like what you want to do. So I want to give you your props and your flowers for that. Papa Bam Bam Bam, shout out to Fee for doing that. We like to give you your love, and I'm looking forward to everything that's coming up because we got more to talk about. We're gonna take a quick break, but everybody else, like I said, if you get a chance, go check out the music now. All of it's listed on.
Yes, sir. You can go to Spotify, look up your boy the Fee, YABOYTHEFWE. You can also find me Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, any which way at your boy the Fee. All right, cool.
So, we go take a quick break. We go come right back. We'll see you guys in a second. It's the world famous Do Work podcast.
Yes,
you know what it is. What up, everybody? It's your man Scientifics, here to tell you about our new sponsor, Red Eye Industries. RedEyeIndustries.com is the place to go to find all of our merch, tinctures, flowers, wax, drinks, and anything you may need for your medical uses. That's right, www.redeyeindustries.com. And tell them your man Science sent you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the world famous Do Work podcast. I am your host, Scientifics, back with my man, The Fee. Make some noise, bam, 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 bam. We are with my man. Also, shout out to my man, B-Nut on the off camera, jump off.
Big dog.
Coming through with the rolly, pound. So shout out. We just came out from talking about giving you flowers. You know what I mean? We appreciate everything you've done. And so when you were doing everything in the last couple of years, I know you dropped a couple of projects. How did it go to, how was 2020 hitting on some personal level, but also like with the music level? Because I'm not too sure if you perform all the time, but like dropping albums and having, streams kind of goes up, everybody's home. Right. So that kind of helped on that side, but like did it affect any sort of like production? I know merch might have went up, or was it just basically like personal shit where it was like more everybody just be safe and
Bruh, 2020 for me was the shit. Because
make some noise for that. 'Cause for me, it was the same. I've told the same story many times, and
my producer, Lil Dillionaire, only stays by himself out in the middle of nowhere with his dog. So I ain't worried about him meeting people, touching people, being around it. Yeah. Like when the whole hype was up and everything, I was just always like, all right, well, I'm just going to the studio. Yeah, like I go to work. Because we do PPE, and so we would distribute like sanitation wipes and like things like that. So we were consistently working. But I work in a warehouse with me and 2 other people. So it was easy for my company to be like, all right, well, you just stay over there. You just stay over there, and the boss just stays inside. And we all kind of separated. and I just did receiving, and my coworker did like the picking, and he would put like boxes on the line, and I would ship them, and my boss would do the work.
Easy peasy.
So it would be that, then home, then to the studio, then home, and I know he ain't going nowhere. He knows I ain't going nowhere. So like it was just like
easy.
Let's see what we can do, and we just started like, all right. And that was when early he was like becoming a producer and stuff. So it was just kind of like
perfect dojo training.
Like yeah, like
no
we're
one's
just gonna
involved.
get in here. But it was also like the Trappy Feast stuff. We did 3 albums, but it was all like on the spot. We're just making the beat. We're just making tracks. We're just doing it because he wanted to get comfortable with producing, and I hadn't used auto-tune or like did certain melodies and stuff. So I was just like, well, all right, we'll just have fun with it. So for like 3 albums, we were just like, all right, let's just go in. I mean, and so the first album was pretty fun. Second album, kind of a little bit more like trying to make music, like tracks. Third album was a little more rapping, and then the next album was feat. So
that's nice. So 2020 was like just basically work, just do work, just
all
everything
work.
else.
Yeah,
and that's perfect because that's what I tell people. Like I've said this a couple times on the podcast. I worked with the IRS, so I found out like hours before everybody else. So I gave everybody the heads up. Hey bro, you might want to go to the store. I came back here and I was like, hey bro, like fuck it. Oh no, I wasn't even here. I was at my aunt's house, right? You want a medal? Like what? No. But so like, and then I moved to LA because I went into film school. But we were zooming it, so I only lived in LA for maybe a month and a half. And then my buddy called me and was like, yo, I live in Vegas. I just got a 5-bedroom house with a pool. I do realty, but I can't really sell houses right now. But I got enough stacks, so we good. Move in, and I was like, all right, I'm doing Zoom for film class. So yeah, I moved to Vegas. I'm poolside with a Corona, smoking a blunt. My camera's off on my shit, but my laptop's right there. I'm just floating in the pool, like, oh, it's tight. So for me, it wasn't nothing. I came back here, went back to work, and we started doing music again, and it just started like hitting. It wasn't even a group of people, you know what I mean? You weren't feeling like, oh, I'm interacting with a bunch of motherfuckers.
December before 2020, I had gotten sick, and it was like 2 weeks, and I was like sick, and I never really like get hella sick, but I got hella sick, and it was in late December, and then after that, I never caught like coronavirus or anything. Like even when I thought I was sick,
called that, yeah,
when it was called coronavirus.
Cause see, I got it.
You got it before it was announced.
But that's what we're thinking. But you can't.
There was there was cases over there. Yeah, there was cases over there because I got sick right after you came through. When I moved to my daughter's house, like you came over, and then like a week later, you're like, "Hey, what's up? Come through." I was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling. I can't breathe." I had that for like a week, and then it just went away.
But I like never lost like my taste. I always had that.
I could smell everything. Yeah.
And I felt like I could still breathe. Like I still feel pretty good about it. But it's just like I was like dog sick. You know what I mean? Not very often.
maybe like once a year.
No,
maybe like
right.
That's why it stood out because it was like I don't really get sick like this.
I mean.
Like this ain't a thing. This ain't a thing. I don't do this.
No, it was something else. But
for me, 2020 was the worst year ever. I was just, my wife was once again, my kids were just like bonding.
Yeah.
She had to, and so it was like she couldn't take any risk.
Right. It was an excuse as well.
They were locked on.
Just literally had to see my kids through the glass.
The window, yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah.
It's crazy, but I'm saying not to say that they actually thought that it was like the disconnect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I completely understand from a lot of other people. Like, yeah, like I have the empathy for everyone because I saw what it did to a lot of families.
Yeah, people were fearful, and some people really got sick and died. So rest in peace.
There's a guy that works right next to my workplace, and he was gone for like a month or so, and came back, and my boss had asked him like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I mean, because we work in warehouses, so like the very next warehouse is like an auto parts place. And he's like one of the main guys. So my boss was like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, and started talking to him and everything. And he lost his whole family.
Damn.
His whole family to coronavirus, bro. He had 2 kids, a wife, and a baby.
All passed away?
Oh.
Damn.
All of them. And so like even when we were like, oh, that ain't shit.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Okay, not to take life back, but I remember why I brought that up. And she was saying like maybe you're immune to it.
Right. And I've heard that as well.
Yeah, you're actually
Super
not
spreader.
taking
Like
that.
you're,
It was like The Last of Us. I was the girl that got bit. Like
Nah, but like,
I was just walking through coronavirus. Like,
nah, it made it sound like you got HPV. Like you don't even know you got it. Like you just have it. You don't even know you got it. Yeah, you got it.
It was like what was it, World War Z, when Brad Pitt like got the medicine and started walking through the zombies.
He was all G'd up. He's like, yeah, I got that. Don't even trip on me. Yeah.
Walking through, just slapping people with coronavirus.
Drinking
Drinking after them and shit.
Oh, on purpose.
No, I remember Rudy Gobert. Yeah, he started touching everything and he gave everyone coronavirus.
And they were like,
this was like, ooh, you guys are scared. And everyone got it.
Getting it. Yeah, he actually had it, and they like, yeah. It got real. Yeah, right. He's super spreader type ass. Nah, but yeah. So I mean, that's good though. I'm sorry for the people that had to go through things like that, but it was good that you actually had the upper side, as some of us in the room have had the upper side of that. Being able to transition, and it was somewhat helpful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that sit down cleared everybody out of the way in order to execute what it is you needed to do.
Right.
You only had the two options of work, home, and then maybe doing what you wanted to do with music. And before it'd be like work, home, maybe chill, maybe barbecue, brings people over. Like,
right.
Pull over to the fam's house, see what's up.
It brought a focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm getting older. You know what I mean? I recognize that.
Are you?
I can't be 30 forever.
You said you can't be 20-something forever.
But I'm getting older, and so like I really want to start transitioning into more of like a production role and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't. But also like I want to help others that are in the field that I know that I can help boost up, or I can get them inside certain tables and rooms that they possibly can't.
Exactly.
Because they don't have the relations, or they don't have, you know what I mean? Like, I like
relations.
Pulling strings to strings and attaching people. And
yeah, we were talking about that.
This is gonna work.
Well, we were talking about that when we took the break the first time, was that connecting everybody's network together.
Right.
Because we all have a some sort of a Venn diagram where they interact with each other somehow, and there's stories within everybody that have been now the groups
and I'm sure it all has to be mutually beneficial. Like I'm
bringing in an artist
to any of that.
Oh no, totally. But bringing in an artist, or being able to introduce an artist who you feel is like, oh, okay, do you want to take that step? I have the availability to reach out to the artist that you like,
right? Because
I have a relationship with them, not just.
But
on
I also
some,
understand like it comes with a lot of ego. Like a lot of artists have ego. I can do this, I can do that, and that's fine too. But like sometimes the people that have been there and like are bro, watch out for that. Like will stop you from hitting that speed bump and shit. You know what I mean? Like and like
if you fucking with them, watch out for the thing.
We're trying to tell you anything. We're just trying to tell you to avoid this, or like watch out.
It may not happen to you, but just it could happen to you. It might happen to the next man, and you're gonna go, oh shit, I know what you're talking about.
If we've already been so ingrained into this, then it's kind of like, why wouldn't you take
also too,
some
because
of what we have to say?
Our advice, and anybody that is in the branch or the class of like, when hip hop in Fresno would be like from me down to you guys and Halo and everybody that would speak on what happens in Fresno and the advice that you would want to get from that. It should be helpful to understand that we're all speaking from when Fresno wasn't even recognized in anything. And then it started becoming movies would slowly start to say, oh, Fresno, and TV shows started to slowly say, oh, Fresno. And then, artists started to pay attention, and there was actors coming from here, and football players, people started to, Fresno's a thing, to now where Fresno's at, where an artist can come out and act like, oh, I'm from Fresno. That was because all the people that, we're going to have on the podcast, and you've seen like Otis and Fee, we'll talk about these stories, but like it's really that we put in the Zaps Park and the the little venues, the vintage days at Fresno City or Fresno State, You know, the little venues that you could barely get on to just try to, you know,
Yeah,
Babylon.
People would laugh at us for
Babylon, yeah, for
I'm
rapping.
like-
There's like a room full of 30 people, and they're like, okay, we came to listen to the DJ.
Right.
All right, everybody, we're gonna take a break. Now bringing up the fee or the
Like,
back of the bus, and
you
there's
really
4
had
people
to
getting.
build that. You really had to bring people out, and you really had to and we didn't have the internet like that.
No,
We didn't have,
and so that's what I'm saying. Like that, to build that status now,
Yeah.
to feel like, okay, if you're gonna try to help build somebody, you actually have the credibility. You've
Right.
put in the legwork. You've been around all of the clubs and structures of years of how Fresno's entertainment has
Right.
changed. Who the promoters were, who, you know, what the
'cause
hot
it's
clubs
like at
were,
the end
all
of the
that.
day, I'm not trying to be the face of anything.
No, but you
I mean,
have
I'm
the
trying to
plug
be one of the legs that helps the table stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, I think even in one of my songs I say, if I can't be Jordan, I'll be fine with being Dr. J. Like if I can't be the greatest ever, I'll be fine with being Dr. J, the dude that just handled his business and is
Created
great as
something
well,
that was dope.
and is also
Yeah.
him. You know, like
Yeah.
I'll be fine with just being something else. You know, like I don't expect to be the face because I know who the faces are. I know who the big dogs are. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I know what I bring to the table, and I know I can help a lot of people.
That's the thing too, is that there's a lane that you've created that I think that when some fans have came up to you, or people who have liked your music have expressed to you, is that
Right.
you don't realize that even though there's a tier somehow, but in that tier you're a lot higher than you may think that you are, because within it you're doing the work.
Right.
When you're on the team and you're trying to get the starting position, you know what I mean? You don't really realize
Right.
other people looking at you going, yo, if he doesn't make it here, I'd like to have him on over here, because we got an offense that'll run with that.
Right.
And when you met Billionaire, that kind of made that position start to happen.
Oh,
and started-
absolutely.
You know,
Like-
and that's what I'm saying.
Like I was even getting to a position because you go so long, like it's hard for an artist that doesn't have an engineer, like a set engineer, their own engineer. You know what I mean? It's hard for an artist that doesn't have their own producer. Like it's hard. And so when I found that in Billionaire and he was just up and starting, I've like tried to find that in a lot of like producers. Like like Otis Reed introduced me to Dig Dug, and Dig Dug put me onto his son very early. And he was like, you got to hear his son.
Shout out to Tabletop. Shout out my
Know
guy
what I mean?
Tabletop. Hey, Tabletop. Tabletop is on the
I was
producer
one
of
of
the
the first
Fashion
ones
track
to
that we
really
got.
drop like albums with them. Like,
Yeah,
I dropped the Gully album and Still Gully.
Yeah.
Like back to back with them because like I respected his grind and I could hear what he's gonna do. I could hear what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, I dropped a
and now
podcast
he's
with
getting
him.
his shine. He rightly deserved.
Oh, he's a
and
beast.
by
He's
by
a beast.
no means
Shout out to
is
Tabletop,
that
he's a beast.
any way me doing that for him.
No.
That was him.
Right.
I just gave him a platform to shine.
But also you saw
You know
early
what I'm saying?
on like
because
a good
I
artist.
might, yeah, or like Dirty Deaf. Like when a lot of people, I could hear Dirty Deaf, and I'm like, man, this man needs a little like EP or something. So me and him rocked a little
East
EP.
Coast Philly to me.
You know what I mean? And he's
He's
an
East Coast
amazing
Philly
producer.
to me, yeah.
You know, and I like finding these little producers. Like I knew this dude named Honto Productions. He's out of France. He didn't even speak English, and I was just like, hey, bro, you're dope. Like you know, like
Google Translate.
Yeah.
Les dope.
hey,
Les dope.
croissant, whatever. But I was just like, bruh, can I use some of these? And like he was like,
Oh,
yeah.
we,
He goes, send me the project when you're done. And that was Listen the mixtape. And I sent it to him, and he's like, oh, I love it, you know, and this and that. And I was like, cool, I got the stamp of approval. But you know what I mean? And then now I've seen him on like people's tracks.
Like
And
major
I'm like,
motherfuckers, yeah,
and
yeah.
by no means is that me, but that's me seeing or trying to see somebody and just like, bro, can we work? Because maybe my people will see something, or maybe you should. And even if it ain't me, cool, bro. We got one out the books.
What you're after in music.
Yeah.
It's a goal of being greatness or making a hit.
Right.
And you say you like to connect. You
Right.
like to connect things together. Right.
Right.
That's the connecting. There's a book you should read called The Tipping Point.
Right.
It talks about different
Does.
factors that make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cycle.
Yeah.
So I need to go love something.
Right.
I need to put these things out there. I want to talk from my heart.
Right.
From my inspirations. Things like that. But you also see that jewel that you have, that light, like-minded connects to like-minded.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Right.
see it, like, you know, not like you said, it's nothing to me, but I know, I see something. That's a diamond.
But also the dope part is that you were able to see someone without thinking like, oh, they're gonna be great, but they worked perfect for what you needed to achieve at that
Right.
moment. So So it was like finding that gem. It's like, I can't find it. Like you're saying, it's hard to find a producer. Then you find the one that's able to produce that song or that project or that whatever.
Right.
You're like, thank you. And then other people come in and go, oh, I can help. And then that person is able to move on to do something. And that's good to be able in that lineage of it.
Like with Dillionaire, he used to be in a shop with all of my folks, and they would come in and they'd be like, hey, Dillionaire makes beats. Or Dylan makes beats. And I was like, okay. And he played it, and it was kind of like early beats. Like, you know, people make early you know, like, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool.
Where's the sample? Where's the anything?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, he comes and they played another beat, and I was like, it's a little bit better. Then he came back, and maybe like a month later, they played a song, and I was like, who did the beat? And they were like, Dylan. And I was like, no way. Like, there's no way he got that good.
In 3 weeks. Like, what is he doing? Just nothing? But then you realize when you've seen his work ethic that that's really how he moves.
He really just works on it.
Yeah.
Then he started being like, you know what? I'm going to take it serious. And he went to school for it. So he got his degree inside commercial music.
Okay.
And so he understands music, and he's already has a background inside business, and he has a background on...
B, can you grab me a beer? Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry.
He has a background on...
music business?
No, but like, digital, like, making digital things and stuff.
Oh, digital content.
Yeah, digital content.
Okay.
And he also used to, like, go and protest and, like, stand for things, which I really like that kind of shit.
Okay, so he's like an activist, and he,
like if you don't stand
he believes in something,
Yeah. And so, like, I dig all these traits about him, and he's just like an introvert. He's like, I just want to be home.
So I believe in what I believe in, but then, you know what I mean, outside of that, I'm not fucking with
You know what I mean? Like, he'll still go out when he needs to, and he needs to go out and stand up for shit. Hey, he stands up for shit. And that, I super respect that about him. But it's just like, man, I found him so late that I was like, fuck, bro, if I found you like 20 years ago, bro.
How old is he?
Like, wait a minute. He's young.
Oh, yeah, he needs this, yeah.
I'm the one that's good about the hill, you know? So I'm just like, damn, we could have made this shit rock. But, so with me finding gold and a diamond in the rough like that, and that he created himself from coal to diamond.
Yeah.
He wanted that.
Like, you watched it happen.
I just happened to be along for the ride and help influence. But that's all him. But that's also why I'm like, hey, Otis, come to the studio with me. And we made Don't Go Public with Otis Reed.
Okay.
That Don't Go Public too fast. And we all kind of had a hand inside of that. But Dillionaire made that beat. You know, and he made that happen.
And what's crazy is that, like, you're right, because you don't want to, I don't want to put my beer down, pick it back up, but you're right though, because like you don't have to claim any sort of fame to like, oh, they became because of what I did. It's the fact that literally you saw what was perfect for you in that moment, and you watched that artist develop, and you yourself being one of those artists that worked hard to develop each time you dropped a new project. I think you respected that grind, so it was easier to see that you're gonna be the piece that I need, because if I help develop it, and so that's in the sense of like, but I did help. It's always
appreciated as well. Like every single time we've dropped an album, I bought over $100 bottle of champagne for Dillionaire.
Yeah.
I'm like, here, bro. And
no,
he don't ask for it. He don't ask for nothing.
But
I don't even spend that shit on myself. But I'm just like, let me get this badass bottle, because that's gonna help him know, like,
you've achieved.
We just did something.
Yeah, we did
that.
I mean? We did that. Yeah.
Like, what's next? And so every single time we've dropped albums, when we dropped 4 together, he's got a bottle, and he knows it. And then I'll come through and we're popping bottles, bro. You know what I mean? I record it every time because I want him to know.
You've heard it first here. Me and Fear dropping an album. I'm trying to get that bottle. You've heard it first here. He said, me and Science are dropping
like that man. I can't give it up enough.
And that's good, dude. Because as an every artist knows, when you find that sound, that producer that works with you, that's when you start to move into that direction of, okay, here we go. And you're right. If you would have found him 20 years ago, but also it's perfect now because you're songwriting and be able to bring other artists to the table that can help that scenario
and that's where
become.
I'm trying to get into that production.
Because you know how like when Wiz did with Sledgerin, all through the the fucking Taylor Alderice and all the fucking Head Niggas in Charge, like all that shit, like our first nigga, our only nigga in first class, like all those albums, like those mixtapes, like that was Sledger, and that was because that was the sound. Cardo, like all that was him, and it was like that made them, because he was like, I wouldn't have made this sound if you weren't making that sound. Right. And this is where I was trying to take it, and couldn't find any producers to do the shit. Everybody was like on a certain vibe, and everybody works for what I want. But there's that slot that isn't filled, and it's great to find that producer and go, okay, now we're just gonna solely work on this for a while. Right. To see that is great, because hearing the Fee album, I can see how the progression went from all of those things.
We work very well together. Like we speak to each other very honestly, and I'm like, I don't like that. And sometimes I can tell he gets frustrated with me where he'll be like, bro, it sounds good. And I'm just like, I can do better. And he's just like, come on. And I'm like, I gotta do it again. Yeah. Bro. I mean, like, it's gonna bother me even when it's out. So he's just like, all right, and he puts up with me, you know what I mean? But he's an amazing dude. But that's why I bring like the Otis Reeds, the TAs, like the Brandon Freemans, the everyone, and like that bass line on TikTok. Brandon Freeman went in there, and we were all looking for a bass and everything, and during there, he's fluent in drums, fluent in guitar, fluent in bass. He's taken piano, I think 1, 2, and maybe 3, I think. Okay. But so he's fluent, semi-fluent, you know. And he's taken like ear tone lessons. He's taken like, you name it, bro. Like, oh yeah. And to me, that's what a lot of producers don't do. They figure like, well, I know how to make a beat. I'm good now. Yeah. I can just make beats.
Hell no. Timbaland makes shit out of his mouth if he can't find the sound. And Pharrell was in band forever and used the music knowledge to be able to create, you know, all of that. Oh, totally. Yeah, but the idea of wanting to build this, like, you found each other when you had a sound.
But it's also levels to success. Yeah. Because what one may deem successful because they have a local hit, another may deem nothing because they have a regional hit.
But you also said at the very beginning,
international hit.
You also said,
what I mean?
Right. Yeah, but hold on. But it's like at the very beginning of the interview, though, you had said, you got to a point where you needed, the steel to sharpen steel. Right. And he was in that space where you were the steel to sharpen off of, and you watched it become steel. Like you said, he made the diamond out of nowhere. It was
absolutely.
Him. But you were like, okay, now that you have a diamond, hey.
I just kind of helped it. I wanted to encourage it because I think people deserve what they deserve, man. I think they deserve their potential. You know what I mean?
And that's great that you see that in the artists that you've worked with. Right. And I think that the reason why you hold your position is because all the artists that you respect see that same energy out of you. Right. They've seen you develop. They've seen you hold your ground with other artists.
I think a lot of it is because I really didn't get that early on. Like my parents, like my stepmom and my dad.
You Jimmy Butler'd it.
Yeah, they didn't really like me rapping.
No, but you Jimmy Butler'd it. It was like, I'm going to show you that I'm effective in the playoffs when it matters. Before my dad passed away, I think this year will be, 6 years? Rest in peace, Pops. Yeah. Rest in peace, Pops.
But then he got to come see me at a show one time, and it was packed. And he got to see me perform, and when I walked out, he goes, oh, you really do this? And I go, yeah. And that was the last time he got to see me perform, man. And it was just like, I confirmed to him, I'm that real dude, bro.
Yeah, that it was real.
Like, I do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I was just messing around. Oh, I want to be a rapper. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, I let him know, like, nah, I do this. Like, you see the people giving me love. You see the people that came up, and he's like, I saw all of it. Yeah. He's like, you do that.
It's
I was
real.
like, yeah.
It's real. No, that's good.
Yeah. Know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
That's why we're excited about having you on the podcast and bringing you out. And knowing that this year, like I said, the Otis project, the TA project, the BKR project, your project, all within a few months of each other, all made a huge stamp of what we're going to be listening to this summer. Right. You know what I mean? This is like what we got going on, and it's great that you guys were able to do that, and we appreciate you guys doing that and being able to reflect all of that is great because, like I told Otis on the last one, like every time you drop something, there's a brand, there's a clothing, there's a shirt, there's a hat, there's a something, and it goes into Fresno, dichotomy.
Yes.
They wear that. They it's part of the session. Like if you wearing a King hat, you rock that. If you have a Fee shirt, you know where that album came from.
Yes, sir.
So it's great that you're doing that along the lines of, and like I said, your stamp in the timeline is present. So it's great to have everybody out here get the opportunity to see you and talk to you. Outside of that, if you haven't seen their podcast, please check it because the shit is fire. I've heard the opinions all day. Like, if you know the three of them, you know that there's about hip hop and about Fresno, about everything. They have an opinion about it, and it's good to hear it because we all talk like that. So it isn't just the three of them that are acting like a certain way, and we're all watching it going, "Damn, bro, you should have said." Like we all say that in the streets, in the barbershops, and with each other, the whole jump. So check those out. We're gonna take a quick break one more time, and we're gonna come back, finalize what we got going on. End this conversation, but not to really want to end it. I mean, I wish we could stay here for hours and talk more story and shop, if you would.
Yeah.
But we'll be right back after this break. You guys stay tuned. This is the world famous Do Work Podcast.
I'm just doing my thing. Get money, stack this change. Hustle till it drops, still playing the game. I'm just doing my thing. Go hard, ball till you fall. In a world full of nothing, boy, we gotta get it on. Doing my thing. Get money, stack this change. Hustle till it drops, still playing the game. I'm just doing my thing.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the world famous Do Work Podcast. I am your host, Scientifics, back with my man, The Fee. We are having a great time tonight, man. We've had freestyle sessions. We've had his music being played. He did a performance for my man B just to give him the idea for the album. You guys have got a chance to sit down and listen to a whole storyline of life, which is great because that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to get everybody to meet the artists that I bring on, the business artists, the business owners, the entrepreneurs. Get a chance to know them by name. So if you get the opportunity to walk into their establishment or meet them as a person, you can say, "Hey, I've seen your podcast. I heard you talk about your life. I'm familiar with not only just being a music fan, but also being able to relate to them as a person." And that's great that we had you on and we were able to talk about all the stories that we have. Like I said, I wish we could talk hours and hours and hours. I mean, it would be amazing to have 6 hours or 5 hours, 22 hours. You know what I mean? But being able to talk over everything today, push the album, The Fee. If you guys haven't got a chance to do the segments and already got to check it out at the end of this, go check it out. All platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, everything. To follow you is at
your boy The Fee, YABOYTHEFEE,
everything.
Make it nice and easy on everything.
On everybody live. Anything new else that you got on the horizons? Because I know you said the camp is starting to build a network and you're trying to put together something.
I know TA The Handful is working on 7 Summers. 7 Summers is coming. That's how long they took from my man, so he's coming back and giving it to y'all, know what I mean?
To let you know though, also shout out to him when he first touched back down. We met up that week or a week, maybe a month later, and I played him Phil Jackson, which was off his first mixtape. And I was like, remember this? Okay, now the next thing you got feels like just the next continuation. That 7 Summer thing is going to be fire because when he came back, if you were to remove that gap, it really felt like that was going to be the next, like where he's at right now was the next step. So it's amazing to see you do that, my brother. Salute to you for that.
I'll be featured on one of the tracks in the 7 Summers. And I got an EP that's pretty much almost finished up. You know what I mean? We're doing some mixing and stuff, and hopefully we'll have that out. And following the EP, I believe we'll have some singles, then the EP, then we'll have an album. And from there, I'm really looking for artists actually that want to get in and get some production and have our input and try to create for you. Like if you have an idea, we would love to make this idea come to life, as long as it's worthwhile, and as long as you believe in it, and as long as you can take some direction, because we really want to get into this production thing and start producing for a lot of you artists, even if they're just singles for your albums or anything like that, or EPs, or you want to get in with Dillionaire for a whole album shoot. I mean,
Kind of like
we can talk about it.
Kind of like how they did on Cadillac Records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come in with a concept. We got the band. We got the beats.
Absolutely.
We got the everything. And then we'll build it that afternoon. Show me the song. I'll give me a couple of hours. We'll sit in the studio
let's
and
create,
build.
man.
Create,
you know, like we
That's
got
a
some
great
good
platform.
stuff going. I know, like I said, me, Otis, and Dillionaire all put our minds together. It was just a dream that Otis Reed had.
It was all a dream.
You know what I mean? He had dreamt of, Don't Go Public, and Dillionaire just started producing and creating an instrumental, and I put my input, and everybody kept putting their input, and we ended up creating a great track.
Yeah.
And we want to keep expanding that with more artists, and just make these hits and help you. You know what I mean? Help me, help you.
Me, help you. Yeah, for real. Like, but I mean, that's honesty, because a lot of artists kind of don't know how to reach out to, or don't feel like people are going to take them serious. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's respectful. You got to put in the grind in order for people to really see you and respect what you're doing.
Right.
But if you step to their platform, they'll listen to what you got, show you some pointers of how to make it better, and then if there's an artist that works with what you're doing, lead you in that direction and maybe introduce you to that person.
It's not just that. We'll also help you like push the track.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll help you promote the track.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
we'll
like,
help you,
in the development of writing, like if you're like, oh, you know what you would sound good with,
right?
As opposed to just trying to fop you on features, and
right?
trying to shoot you out to be like, yeah.
We want to accommodate all artists and make sure that they're inside the right positions to win, because ultimately you win, I win, we win.
And then ultimately after the song is written, then do the merch and then push them promotions.
Right.
And then or show them how to.
But what we're doing is we're giving you guys an attempt to be a part of a team.
Yes.
Even if it's just temporary, because we're not trying to sign somebody long term or have any. No, we just want to help create and push to where maybe you may be faltering, we can pick it up, or we know someone that can pick it up, or like however we can to help push not just ourselves but you and the scene in general, because ultimately we are what we present.
Yeah.
And we can't all be drill rappers 24/7. Like, some of us want to make music, and like that's what we love doing, is making music and making something out there. And when I'm talking a hit, I'm not talking about like all radio. Oh, you're gonna make like some in sync shit, like something that could really last forever. Like something that may become a classic. Like, we're looking to really create, man. And if you're a creator, that's
perfect too, because it is like Cadillac Records, where it's just like putting you in the right space to know or learn what you don't know yet, so you can become a better artist.
Right.
Like, I can tell you're missing these pieces. Let me introduce you to these people. Now your studio lingo is different. Your songwriting ideas are better. You know that you want a singer here. You know a singer. You know what I mean?
One of the best analogies that I've heard is from Scarface off of The Fix, where he said you're only as good as what you come up against. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you put yourself amongst friends, then you're always gonna be a friend. But do you want to be great?
Yeah.
I mean, allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be in a position to where maybe you let go of the reins a little bit and allow everybody to help steer you. You know what I mean? Like, let's get in the right direction for the sake of music, like for the sake of just advancement. Like.
Did you ever see the show Marco Polo?
Nah, but
okay,
I played the game.
No, okay, so did you watch it? I think we watched it at your house when you lived at the other apartment. Where he had to battle the guy with the blind eyes. The sensei that trained him was like, you got to let go, bro.
Right.
Like, everything, but you got to feel when it is right to make that move.
Right.
You can introduce all these artists. We can have. I mean, that's why we've lasted this long, is because knowing when it played perfect to do a feature, or when it felt right, or when your project needed that person. The voice of this song was saying, who sounds good on this, and vice versa.
Right.
And that's why it's good for you to give those artists that opportunity to say, hey, you don't have to jump on everything. You got to start feeling the music. You got to start listening to artists and know
that's
what works
the
with
big
you.
thing, is the feel.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people don't feel music, they just want to fill in.
Yes.
And it's like, bro, I'm not saying I'm the greatest at whatever I do, but that's also why I lean on Dillionaire, why I lean on Otis, why Otis leans on me, why Otis leans on Dillionaire, why we lean on TA, why we all lean on each other, so that we can try to create the best product possible. Know what I mean? Because ultimately we know what we want to express, but let's convey that in the appropriate manner. Know what I mean? And if you don't comprehend how to convey that, we can get stuck in our own bias. And a lot of the time I like to hear from other people's opinions so that we can have those harsh conversations, so we can get you in front of the right demographic, the right eyes, the right things. Know what I mean? But with sitting there and putting ego in front of everything, you're gonna be stuck. Like,
yeah, no, those harsh conversations are what you're taking them out of their thought process to go, if you want to get here, this is the thought process,
right?
And the deeds and the actions you need to make over here to achieve. And it's like, you know, but like you said, you said Dillionaire was able to work with you because he worked in business and, you know, he had understanding of a lot of different factions. Those are the points that you want to share with everybody else, because there's people that come into the game that think that, oh, I'm just gotta do said, you know, X.
But it was also because he wanted what I wanted. But I've wanted this already for 20 years by the time I meet him.
But also coming,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
the education is the thing that you feel that you got to share.
Right.
And I think that's when I came back as a sound engineer, when Phi and Z and everybody were in their younger stages, and like 559 had their producer or engineer. We all kind of did the same thing. We talked amongst ourselves and said, hey, how do we make the sound better for all the artists we're working with?
Right.
Your camp is these artists. These camps are these people I'm working with now.
Right.
Like, what are you working with? How do we do this? If I'm sending you files, I got to send you my mix. Do you understand what I'm doing? Like, do you see where I took it? How to balance that vocal to this vocal? And that's good to have that studio lingo, but also bringing in artists, like you said, with the business and knowing why you got to market and what you have to do. Because a lot of people are going to take that time, and a lot of the older artists are trying to develop younger artists with that understanding, because, like I said, Fresno, when we were coming up, didn't have the recognition or respect or even the view of being in San Francisco or in LA. Now we are, and the business mind is what needs to be applied to something like that. That's why Atlanta, Houston, all these places blew up, because they had big hustler mentality.
Right.
Fresno has a street grind, you're never going to put me down mentality. Now that we have the punctuality to put that on everybody, we can give them the business that we've learned.
Yeah. It's a certain part of that pride where you kind of got to let it go a little bit.
Yeah.
And start accepting. You know what I mean? And it's because the person, I'm fine. The person next to you is just as prideful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that person is also letting go.
Mm-hmm.
In order for us to prosper. Mm-hmm. And like, that's really the only way that you can do it. Like, do you want 300 of the greatest soldiers that all know they're great, but are telling the next person, bro, you're great? Mm-hmm. Because those next people are also telling you you're great.
You're great.
So that we're the 300, so that we go against all the thousands that are out there. No,
and everybody
like,
fears that.
Like, what do you want, bro?
Yeah. My favorite line in that whole movie was, "Oh, I get it. We're gonna fucking fight in the shadows because the arrows were coming down, and he had a shield up, and he was laughing."
Yeah.
Because their whole agenda was, I hope you're just as good as me.
Right.
To conquer me.
Right.
Because I've worked my ass off every single day of my life to get this good.
I've been waiting for this.
And you're not cocky. You're very confident in the skill level. That's why when he was freestyling, saying, I know I got this. I had like this. You understand it. Otis said the same thing. He was like, there was a point where I was like, I got this. Like, I know. Right. There's nobody that can fuck with me. And that's that strength of a fighter. Of a warrior, like, you know, your skill set.
And that's what I'm talking about your peers. Like when I was saying earlier, I get respect from my peers, man. To me, Otis is one of the greatest rappers in general.
Shout out to Otis, man.
And I mean, not just locally. Like, I've told him that several times. I am a fan of his music. His music stays in steady rotation with me.
Watch the podcast when it drops, bro. Like when the podcast of me, like the one before this.
And that's my Brody. You know what I mean? But I did that. I would listen to it when it would just be like me driving by. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, there's Otis. Hey, what's up, fam? Yeah. It'd be like, what's up? Yeah. That's all it was. Slowly we started talking about family and everything else, and like, you know what I mean? We started becoming boys, and we got the podcast going together, and just everything, and we started talking about discussing more than music. You know what I mean?
And life.
Yeah, and he's an incredible person. He's a great man and an incredible father, man. You know what I mean? That dude's great.
Yeah. Shout out to Otis. Shout out to Otis. Very creative, super intellectual, very honest and open about how he feels about things, and very direct. And
that's what I appreciate.
And that's why another valuable point to the.
I
got shot. I got shot in one of his videos.
Where the girl was running?
Yeah, I got shot in one of his videos.
Oh, that's
bro.
my shit.
When he's chasing Shorty with I got shot in one of his videos.
To the alley?
You didn't see me when fucking Halo shot me, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking Halo.
And Omar was in the car with you or something?
Yeah, he tried to save me like we was doing the beginning.
Was it spiraling down?
Yeah. It was great song, great epic. But like, I'm glad that you guys are worldwide watching this concept and this conversation, because these are the music and avenues that we've traveled, and like, again, like I said, with the Atlantas and Houstons and big cities, where you find a collective of people that know the athletes and the actors, and we all went to high school together, we all grew up together with the same clubs when the venues are open. So you see everybody develop and progress. Sadly, we see some people, leave the scene, but they go into life, so it's great, but it just, when you see that class of artists that continue to grow, and you know that the scene, when it gets to a certain point, has these focal points as like the heads of whatever happens. Right. I'm proud to say that I know you and Otis and everybody else that are going to do that. I will be able to step in and be able to say I've engineered and helped make some of these projects as well. I worked a lot on LMC music. I hope to work on some of your music in the future. I have a project that I got coming out. He has a single coming out with Fashawn. Yes, and so like, there's a lot of things that we want to keep putting on for the city and work with everybody, so that there's a new wave underneath us that learns from everybody the way that we had to learn from nobody. Right. We give them the honesty back and say, this is how you're going to do it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be easy because we're giving you that. Right. But it's not going to be easy. And
if they're willing to accept it.
And I think if we would have known that, in a sense, I don't think we would have had as much bravery. So I think that we need to be able to convey that in a way that makes more sense, and not try to scare them off from saying it's not going to be easy. Just meaning you got to be tough, bro. You got to have, especially if you're coming from Fresno, any city that has the hood, there's a level of street, either you're involved or you're not, but once you get past that, you're still connected to it, and you have to figure out how to bring that with you, or how to
I agree, but I think at the end of the day, this shit is still a competition, bro. Bring really that shit. Like, if I step in the lab, as much as I'm trying to like big up Otis or TA or Baker or anybody else that's a wordsmith, bro, I'm trying to kill y'all every time I come on the track, bro. Every single time. And I love y'all, and y'all might kill me too, bro. And that's the great probably part. Have, but. Bring that shit, bro. This kumbaya shit ain't just it's handshakes and it's love and stuff like that. But when we get on the track, we try to take heads off,
and
bro.
That's the reason why. Fresno,
bring greatness.
When Fresno says we got to get together, it's
you got to set the standard, bro.
I think that's the thing that everybody misses in the conversation. Whenever he says we need to unite, it's not that everybody needs to. It's the heads that are gonna kill shit, make music crazy, make the lyrics crazy, and make other people inspired to do shit is what's gonna make it happen.
Hell yeah.
So I appreciate you being on the show.
All day, I appreciate having you.
It's been great having you here, man. All you guys check out his music in the link in the bio in the bottom of the description of the YouTube and the Spotify. You guys will be able to get all the information. If you guys want to follow, anything you want to say before you get out of here?
No, man. You can check out my merchandise. It's at Big Cartel White Ash Fee Collection. Know what I mean?
Okay.
Check it out. You can also go to my Instagram. It's inside the bio. At your boy the Fee on IG, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Or you can go straight to my website, yourboythefee.com. It just is what it is, man. Bring that shit. What's up?
Thank you.
I mean? Bring that shit.
And if you feel like you can compete with them on a track, hit them up, pay them for the feature, and then see if you can live.
Bring that.
If not, then just keep it. And go check out the new project Fee on all streaming platforms. That shit is fire.
Yes, sir.
We've been listening to it all day when we take our breaks. But go check that out. On top of that, shout out to my man B for having us in the building.
Big ups to B, man.
Being in the cave again,
Yes,
next
sir.
episode,
Big
we got shout out.
Pops,
Big up to Pops. Big up to Shot.
Big ups to
Ed
Pops,
Campbell
man.
in the building to being able to be featured in this whole episode. If you got your Pops, give him a hug. If you don't, go see his site and show him, talk to him when you got a chance. Everybody else, love you guys worldwide. Thank you for being here for the world famous Do Work podcast. I'm your host, Scientifics. It's been my man, The Fee.
You know what it is.
Every single time, threes up. Love you, fools. Hey. Yeah.
Yo, did it dawn on you that I'm a king? Like Duncan and Ginobili, I ain't known for switching teams. Had a spur the moment, you rappers is fatigued. Unsigned rookie, bitch, I snuck into the league. When the money low, watch how quick they flee the scene. I only ride with niggas who relentless and obscene. Made it past corrections, hit the yapper in the sling. I don't need a filter, bitch, it's really what it seems. Only God can judge me, who the fuck is Maybelline? You either with us or against us, we don't straddle in between. Young John Gruden kicking bitches off the team. Shout out to the niggas with a voice off the hand. That ain't really you, that ain't really you. Lyrically the truth, but we don't call it truth. Shooters on the roof, got these niggas spooked. Now stoop kid afraid to lead a motherfucking stoop. Let me regroup and get my shit together. You gon' kiss her in the mouth while I kinda like McGregor. Only thing soft about me is the pillow soft leather. Spark plug amazing, Carmen Electric. Get right or get left in this bitch ambidextrous. She don't want me, the bitch wanna fuck my necklace. When the money up, everybody get receptive. You rappers is repetitive, etc., etc.
Push heavy like I'm run blocking. Wish me well like John Hopkins. Take the beat out like we going shopping. Pass on me like John Stockton. Now you're peeping at the ring. Klay Thompson, look what heaven's taught him. Stranger things, guess 11's got him. If I was there, they'd have never shot him. When you hunting for the paper, guess you getting what you wanted. Little harder when you started from the motherfucking bottom. Man one with the mic, half man, half amazing. Ask Aisha, just another bad creation. Gamed up PlayStation. Life's a trip, no vacation. Getting high like salutations. Culmination of a patient who was patient, aspirations, aberration of a final destination. He was up, had to downgrade him. Turned your backs like a bow facing. Arm strapped like a mental patient. Peep the show or you could change the station. Underground rocking mics like Rap City basement. Case in the spotlight, strong on robbery. Life's a little diff when you climbing out of poverty. Pardon me, hoes, the bars are now closed. Coming straight up at the concrete. A rose has a rose. Young Blue said deleted, lyrically conceited. Mayweather in the fall, I can never be defeated, huh?
Fly nigga, ain't no telling how we might dress. Pockets on swole like Tukey Will's biceps. All about the Benjamins. Mike X, my yes. Running circles around these new rappers than a high steps. I bark and bite like a stray dog. They can't knock your face off. More goons than Adolf. I ball like every game to play off. You ain't got the resume, but yet you want the payoff. Stand down, dumb cheese, mad cow. Got the torch, it was passed down. Turn your potato to a hash brown. Bad teeth, bitch, I got the crown. Came home, it's time to spaz now. Spoiler alert, I'm to the bag. I done sent more birds in motion than McNabb. You don't know the half. All he seen was red, Mr. Krabs. Rap ether, Jack Reacher, off Mad Reefer. Touch turf like I played FIFA. Different mind frame, same sequence. Had to play defense. First street, aka the deep end. Bitch, I been beastin'. King Timothy, you niggas heathens. You don't like it, nigga, file a grievance. I got stripes like Derek Jeter. My niggas live like Kelly Regis. Closest to you wanna catch you leaking. That Glock showing like some fucking cleavage. The bitch black like Cousin Skeeter. Pockets fat like Queen Latifah. Breaking up the dice game, bet the nickel Nina. Bet the nickel Nina.
Yeah. Who wanna see the Hancock, Will Smith, and Wesson? Hey, body, get the picture when the dots connecting. Cross the section, get dropped like a bad connection. Watch blood get sick like a bad infection. Testing. Who gon' listen? Catch two to the chops like I'm judo kicking. Been a pillar to the game, lyrically Cal Ripken. Y'all been trained to be the same, see this shit here different. Stepping straight up out the kitchen, cooking up so easy. It's a wonder how I do it like my nickname Stevie. Still fucking with the game cause that bitch still needs me. Till I get it out of purse, run it, Chris Breezy. Misfit, powder up your brain, call it Nesquik. Spit what I'm blessed with, grind it till my next ship. Overtime the next bitch, Clip does the rain dance. Couple hitters with you, guess you all got the same chance. Walking away, couldn't even be an option. Guess you gotta go, find you laying next to Stockton. Prints on your head, I ain't talking about Rodman. Stealing on you cats, east sides Kenny Lofton. Talking what you're doing's gonna get you a facelift. Still in your mouth, I ain't talking about braces. Word on the street is you handing out cases. 9mm could be really persuasive. Run tell that, game twisted like laces. Lying for $1, now it all makes sense. No chance like the lotto, get money, that's a motto. Better get with the script, that's a hard pill to swallow. Ayy.